The Green Bay City Council Finance Committee are now looking into the expenses the city will face related to a lawsuit over the recording devices in City Hall. As we reported, the issue of the audio recording devices in City Hall was first brought up earlier this month. Then the mayor and city were named as defendants in the lawsuit, calling for the destruction of the recordings and fines for damages. The goal of the meeting tonight was to find out how much money fighting the lawsuit would cost the city. The city attorney says so far, insurance is expected to cover the lawsuit, including hiring an outside attorney. The city would still have to pay at least $250,000.
It feels a little different than some of the other things that we have experienced, so I think that's why a lot of these questions and the in-depth analysis is being created, because it's so new. Like, it just seems so bizarre, everything that has happened to get to this point.
The recording devices will also be brought up at the Parks Committee meeting tomorrow night.